Lanolin is a really cool character. Y'all are just mean. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Cam's Jibber Jabber. This is a series where basically I just talk about some stuff that are random and stuff that's just kind of like on my mind that I just want to have a nice little like discussion video about, and I just want to talk about for a little bit. And today I actually want to talk about Lanolin, actually one of my recent most favorite Sonic characters in the Sonic series recently. Now, if you don't know who Lanolin is, she's basically a Sonic character from the IDW Sonic comics. She's not from any game or anything like that. She actually came from the IDW Sonic comics. And I actually love this character to death. And I'm not going to get too much into like an analysis of her character, which is why this is not going to be a KamExams of this character. But this is just going to be like a brief like overview of like why I have come to like this character. Now, if you don't know who Lanolin is, she's basically a member of the Restoration, like, kind of group that's in that comic series. And what they're doing is they're basically trying to, like, I guess, heal and help the world from the efforts of Dr. Eggman, who, of course, Eggman and all the other villains in the, Hedgehog world, Sonic the Hedgehog world, are very much just like kind of bringing it down, and they're basically like the freedom fighters of the IDW Sonic comics, which is really cool and all. But Lanolin is basically the boss of the group. She started out as just a normal like background character all the way back in Sonic the Hedgehog #2, and as the comics kept going on, it seemed like Adam Bryce Thomas, which is actually her creator, was able to kind of work her more into the story, so much so that Ian Flynn actually started to legitimately write lines and more of a bigger and larger role into the story for this character. Now, at first, she really was just a character that like kind of just helped out Sonic and friends with whatever endeavors they actually had going on, trying to like, help the group, like formation and all that stuff, and trying to get everything organized. But over time, her character's popularity kind of became a lot more prevalent in the comic. So nowadays, what she usually does is she's actually the legit boss and the actual like leader of the committee. Now, a lot of people have had some weird thoughts about this. Some people actually legit do not like Lanolin as a character, and the reason why they really just don't like her as a character is because of the fact that she doesn't really come off as a character that has a clear alignment. Some people legit think that Lanolin probably is a villain. Some people think that she is not really a true hero or in any like way, shape, or form, or she's not really just a good character, some people would say. And the reason why is because at first, the funny thing about Lanolin is that before she actually went down like this, rabbit hole with Sonic the Hedgehog and everybody else, she kind of was a little bit more of a brighter character. She had like basically, she was like inspired by Sonic to actually help out with the world and like try to become like, be more involved with like heroes and stuff. But she eventually decided to, get more involved with everything, and what that has turned into now she has become kind of stressed out. And this comes from the wiki, but Lanolin is described just as tangled that she was inspired by Sonic's acts of heroism, causing her to join the Restoration. However, she started to grow frustrated in secret over how the organization started to focus on the humanitarian efforts and how Sonic and his friends dealt with Eggman, wanting them to focus in dealing with attacks from criminals with a direct approach instead of waiting for them to strike first. She takes her duties as a new member of the Diamond Cutters seriously, which are basically kind of like the new freedom fighters, but unfortunately, due to stress with organizing the team, she comes across as cold and abrasive despite having good intentions, such as not checking on her friend's well-being. She also has some difficulty listening to her team, not looking into Silver or Whisper's accusations and concern, or how Team Sonic's boards mysteriously malfunction, as well as having a sense for being stubborn, which makes her react wrong to how certain people react. Now, I just kind of want to overview this by saying that I don't think Lanolin is a bad character because of who she actually is. There's a lot of like push nowadays for characters nowadays to be kind of like squeaky clean, to not have a lot of like, flaws or whatever. And I think that is a detriment to a character's like real growth, because I feel like sometimes, while they're not they're fictional characters, but a character can like basically feel a lot more real if they have something that makes them not perfect. Lanolin is not a perfect character in general. She has her flaws. She doesn't check in on her teammates as much as she should. She gets stressed out. She probably gets mad at them a lot. And she definitely is what I would say a boss lady. But really, in this case, she is a bossy lady, which is a dejection towards that role that she has, which is not a good thing. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it from Lana's point of view. She was in the city where Sonic actually helped her, their town or whatever. She saw that stuff happen helplessly. Lanolin is a character that is like legit. She is very pure in this instance that she wants to help the world from a person as a bystander, a previous bystander at one point, and she wants to make the world a better place. I feel like in a realistic situation, people would look at this situation just like Lanolin, ignoring the fact that these are characters that you like Sonic the Hedgehog, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, who cares? All these characters are great and all. But if you looked at this as in a realistic sort of way, you can actually empathize. You'll probably find yourself a lot more empathetical to Lanolin's way of looking at the situation, because you definitely would probably be seeing like some of the inconsistencies that Sonic has. I mean, yes, there's this whole entire thing that maybe Sonic should have killed Eggman. There are the stuff that has happened in the past, like the metal virus stuff, and some other inconsistencies, and also the stuff with going on with like Surge and Dr. Starline and stuff like that. There have been some definite oversights that I think Lanolin I would say right now that she has definitely like picked up on, and now she wants to address those things. And for the Sonic team to not want to actually address them and to kind of have Sonic's like more freedom, laid back mood, it kind of clashes with what Lanolin wants. And that's why like I do feel like there might be some merit to her like turning sides, but I don't think that Lanolin is a villain. I think that Lanolin might become like her own independent type of character, separate from Sonic the Hedgehog and his friends. Maybe she could turn into a villain. I'm not really completely sure, but I honestly love Lanolin. Now, some people have also like compared Lanolin to Princess Sally, and Princess Sally, if you guys don't know who she is, was actually one of the Freedom Fighters, and the Freedom Fighters have had a lot of controversy. A lot of people have actually wanted the Freedom Fighters to come back, and unfortunately there has been some kind of news with that actually recently, and it's not looking really too good for fighters, honestly, because the Freedom Fighters honestly are probably not going to come back, because now apparently they want to focus on the new stuff, and I can understand that. There are some parallels like with the IDW Sonic comics, with the Freedom Fighters being like maybe the Diamond Cutters, or Surge basically being like a female version of Scourge. But the whole point of the matter is that Sally herself is not in the comic, but people are already drawing comparisons from Sally to Lanolin. In fact, there's this awesome like a couple images that I've actually have on screen that actually shows how Lanolin sometimes acts like Sally, and it does make sense why Lanolin would probably be seen as another Sally. I think that might be the case, but I will say this right now. I think Lanolin is a lot better character than Sally. Now, I like Sally and all, don't get me wrong, I do love Sally, but I didn't really care for her relationship with Sonic, for one thing, and I also did think that her bossy nature wasn't really justified. But I think that Lanolin's nature is justified because she comes from a place where she was outside of the action. Sally was in the action, but when she was bossy and she was being like snotty or like a little whatever, she wasn't really, she came from like a really weird place. I mean, it wasn't all bad, but I feel like the benefit of that, the position that Lanolin has, works in her favor a lot more than Sally does. It also should be noted that while Lanolin is actually, just a regular person, Sally is royalty. And honestly, just having someone being bossy, snooty as a regular person that came from just being average is a lot more awesome, more believable. It's not as abrasive as just a typical princess like Princess Sally basically telling everybody what to do. And it comes from a more humble kind of like place, you know what I mean? I don't know if that really makes sense, but basically, I think that Sally just, she came off as just kind of like bossy, but Lanolin is just, she's about that hustle. She's about that life. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's got to get things done. And I feel like Sally is a less awesome example of that. I still love her as a character, but Lanolin comes from a more humble position, and I like that more. And Lanolin does come off as more charming because she is a lot more relatable, because she is stressed out with Sonic's team, and I feel like that is just a lot more endearing, a lot more interesting for her to be like actually written like that, because it's just really cute, honestly, seeing her with like the baggy eyes and stuff, and her trying to like kind of do what she has to do. But she does have her honest to God like really bad moments where she literally doesn't listen to Silver and Whisper about the Mimic character. It's basically the character that's in disguise. It's probably at this point trying to like destroy the team, which is just really sucky. I hate that situation in general. There's got to be some type of turnaround because she's so in for it. I think the whole entire idea is that she might be so caught up in trying to keep the restoration up, or keep it up and running without any type of problems, that she probably doesn't care too much about what's going on in the midst of their team that seems minuscule to her. To her is the key word there, because obviously this stuff is very important, because there's literally a traitor that has gotten Whisper's freaking original team actually killed at one point. So obviously this is not something that is actually a good thing. This also does extend to what's going on in the new arc that's going on right now, where Sonic and Tails and Amy and the other Diamond Cutters restoration, they're going to this Extreme Gear Grand Prix type thing, and then when Sonic, Tails, and Amy's boards malfunction, basically, Lanolin has no sympathy. She kicks him off the track and tells him, yeah, you're off this track. You're annoying me. You get off. No, you're going away. I do not care what you guys have to say and how this like situation had like nothing to do with you guys. She was not hearing any of that. That is legit a bad moment. At this point, this stuff needs to be addressed, because this is probably like the third or fourth time that she's kind of like done stuff like this, where she, like she's like leading the group and everything, but she's just kind of being, I can't really say it, but you know what I'm saying. She's being a female dog right now, and someone needs to address this. Either Sonic or Amy, somebody with some backbone in them. They need to address this to Lanolin. Now that's probably going to cause some conflict, but that definitely will show us more probably of what's going on in Lanolin's head in her story. Now, with that all being said, you might be expecting someone like me to actually not like Lanolin, but I actually love Lanolin as a character. I love her design. I love her bossiness. I actually love the fact that she's like this, because there's a little bit too many characters in the Sonic series that are kind of just who they are just because of the fact that they're just who they are, and they're kind of like squeaky clean. They have some good traits about them. A lot of things that you could say that are the bad traits are just like these minor things, but Lanolin legit has a huge problem, and she's not necessarily a villain, which makes it a lot more endearing, a lot more like interesting as a concept, because she definitely isn't just a hero. She has a flaw that needs to be addressed, and whether or not that will be addressed, it will show how much her character can actually grow, and if she really does deserve a place in the Sonic cast right now. I really think that's really interesting, because we haven't really had a character like that in the Sonic series before, and I think it's one of the reasons why she is actually one of my favorite characters in Sonic the Hedgehog right now. And honestly, I really want to see where this character goes. Now, like I said before, she is kind of like Sally, but she's like a better Sally. She's a bossy lady, but she means well. She's got bags under her eyes, and she's just so unique as a character to me, and I feel like we need more like characters like that probably like shake it up. I usually don't like it like when there's like characters that in certain stories that like kind of like just shake up the dynamic, or they try to like a character. It's like this, right? You see a group of characters, they're around a campfire, everybody's having a nice time, they're laughing and everything, and then the character comes and walks in, they sit down and they kind of start yelling, or they start like basically like breaking up the dynamic of that said camp's group. And now you're having this kind of like uneasy feeling. It's like, why is this person here? What the heck is going on with this character? In terms of storytelling, this is actually an amazing tactic in order to make some more story ideas, to actually flesh out the characters more. How will this character work in this environment? How will the other established characters like actually react to this new character that has shook up the environment? It's a great story, like kind of like dynamic. Yeah, I think a really generic and cliche example is actually like Scrappy-Doo from Scooby-Doo. Like no one really likes Scrappy-Doo. Like I honestly, I don't really mind Scrappy-Doo, and I really just don't like the fact that they just made it into like a completely awful character. I really don't think he was that bad of a character, but a lot of people did not like Scrappy-Doo. But that probably made people appreciate the original 5 characters in Mystery Inc. that much more. People love Scooby-Doo, Fred, Velma, Daphne, Shaggy. Everybody loves them a lot more because they realize that we got a great thing going on right now. We don't need this outside source. Now, there's probably other situations where, like maybe in the Teen Titans, you know, Tara could have been a great addition to the team, but they eventually realized that she wasn't really a good addition because of what she had going on with like Slade and her own insecurities and stuff like that. That's another like video in of itself or whatever. But what I'm trying to get at here is that the storytelling kind of like the potential is to either see if this could enhance or take away from the group. And that I feel like is very relatable for people in real life. And I feel like that's what Lanolin is. She is an antithesis to what the Sonic cast is all about. And I feel like we need more of that, because I feel like that a lot of the Archie comics kind of had those kind of characters that weren't so safe, characters that were a little bit more rock the boat-ish, you know what I mean? And that's the reason why I love Lanolin so much. Besides the fact that she is a cute, awesome, bossy lady, she's unique, and she's got a humongously awesome design. I love the fact that she's a sheep and she's got those like 4 afro puffs. You know, I know it's not really an afro because she's a sheep, but like still, I really like Lanolin's design. I've actually drawn her, you know, on the screen along with these other characters. I didn't like fully render it anything, but I just did like some sketches here and there. But I really do like Lanolin as a character. She really is really awesome and cool, and I just wish that like maybe hopefully someday some people could actually see how awesome of a character she actually is. But with that being said, only time will tell. I feel like there's gonna be this awesome like big reason why Lanolin is the way that she is. But again, comics come out every single month, so this could take a while. But with that being said, guys, this kind of turned into a KamExams. This was supposed to be just a Kam's jibber jabber moment, but I kind of talked a little bit much about Lanolin. I didn't think this was gonna be this long, but I guess I really like this character. Seriously, I was only gonna make this like a 7-minute video, but I just love this character. So hopefully you enjoyed probably drawing, listening to this. Anyways, if you guys like this video, like this video, and if you guys like you saw, you want to see more, why not subscribe to the channel? I have a Twitter, which is KamyKam77, as well as a Discord, link in the description down below. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a good night, day whenever you're watching this. Hasta.